Afternoon, traders. Good morning, traders, wherever you are in the world. Good evening for some. Okay, today we've got big news in 5 minutes. Okay, so let's have a look at Forex Factory. So the big news really today is CPI data. So it's going to affect the dollar. Okay, so you can see CPI, YY, and core CPI as well. So really, the reason I'm looking at this now is because my bots are off, because my gold trading bots, which are my robots, they are they've been operating until this morning, so I've turned them off. Just turn all this off. Oh, that's in fact, that looks quite good for Coinbase, actually. So Coinbase looks like it's coming back, which is quite nice because of crypto. Right, so what's going to happen with gold? Obviously, 1888, 1889 at the moment. Okay, so now the reason I turned the bots off, because the bots work best in a sideways market. And what we tend to see with gold is big moves when the news happens, and what they are is the red US dollar news. So this red news, CPI data, it might not affect it today too much, but if you look at what's happening with gold already, it's actually poking a bit higher. Now I was expecting a bit of a pullback, a bit more of a drop before I get in down to this level here around 1850 again, but it might not happen. It might just carry on going up and then pull back later on. So let's see what happens with the news. Now, in terms of my bot, or these bots that we sell, actually, these bots, and sell the licenses to these. So with these bots, what they do, they work best in a sort of sideways-ish market, but when you get big moves like this, it's like these big moves here, when gold moved that far in that amount of time. So in those 4 hours, well, actually, if you look at it on the hourly chart, you can see how much gold moved in an hour here. So that's when the bot needs to be off. So basically what we do is we wouldn't trade this with the bot throughout these cycles, because we know that the news is coming. So the news will basically send gold, because of the dollar, it's all related to the dollar, but it will send gold one way, or it'll send the dollar the other way. So basically, if the dollar drops fast in a minute, we've got 1 minute to go before the news is released. If the dollar keeps on dropping, then gold will increase in value. Now, what we tend to do with the bots is, I mean, it's really pushing higher. I mean, this is good for my gold trades over there, but, you know, I'm out of the bot at the moment. The bot is off on all the accounts and my student accounts as well. So, because we've got to ensure that the bot, because what the bot does, it basically shorts as the price is going up, and then it buys at the bottom. More details if you want to know later on. Look me up, but and ask the questions. But the thing is with it, you know, these are the best conditions here for the bot to operate. You know, so it's buying, selling, etc., making the profits as it goes along. This is okay. This is okay. This move is okay, but in 1 minute time, there's a possibility that gold's either going to go up or go down really quickly, like this. And that's probably another 3 o'clock bit of news on Friday. So there's obviously non-farm payrolls here, wasn't it? On Friday at 1:30. So 1 o'clock you see. And then you see a lot of movement there. So, okay, well, gold's dropped. So obviously the data is potentially positive for the dollar. Yep, so look at that. Okay, so CPI data, what is it? Minus 0.1. 6.5 as expected. And then core 0.3 as expected. Unemployment claims. Okay, it's not a red, but it's still possibly going to affect the gold. So we are okay, so it's green, it's less. Now there's two ways of looking at this. Because its unemployment claims are less than expected. They're expected to be 216k, they're actually 205k. So that's positive for the economy in the US because unemployment claims is coming down. Well, it's actually going up on last previous figure. However, it was expected to be much higher than it is. So there's two ways of looking at this. We can look at it one way and say, okay, because the news was positive for unemployment claims, it's more likely that the interest rates will be reduced in terms of the size in the future in the US, which potentially will ripple throughout the globe. So that's one positive really for gold, really. So, you know, I mean, normally gold and silver, they move in terms of unrest. We're at 1884 now, you see, so it's volatile. It's up and it's down. So the data has moved the dollar. Okay. It's moved palladium. So maybe I'm in that other palladium trade now, which I want to get into. Not quite. Oh no, I am in that. It's a 1750 was the lowest. So that's in profit at the moment. So yeah, you can see what happens really with gold when this news takes place. So it could be good for gold and bad for the dollar. I think it might be because interest rate hikes are not necessarily going to be as big as they have been in the past. So, could also be good for stocks. Now, one I'm looking at the moment is Tesla. Okay, so I'm over here on Tesla. I know the pre-market is lower because I've got pre-market on my professional trading account. So 1, 2, 1, so I could trade that now if I want to. Now obviously you can't trade this here. So pre-market is moving actually. But I'm looking at, with Tesla, I'm looking at this relative strength index down here. So we're actually got a nice little curve up here on the weekly chart. So I'm gonna take a bit of a go on Tesla really with this low price because it's come down so far. Potentially, I could get in right down here for 122, and then that gap may close. That's one advantage of it. I've also got the relative strength index here, so I've got a little tiny hook down here, and it's just gone back in on the weekly into the 30% zone. So let's buy some Tesla stock. let's calculate this correctly, because got to make sure that I get the lot levels correct. So 18 parts. In fact, let's just Google it. Tesla lot size. Okay, so one lot is 100 contracts. So that's 100 times 22. Well, it's obviously 112,000 per lot. Is that right? 100 contracts. So it's going small to start with. Okay, it's frozen. Now, one of the reasons, just so you're aware, I use for my main trading account, I use a wired mouse and a wired keyboard. Now, if the battery runs out on this Mac, then I've got to charge it before I can actually execute or work on my trades. So I always keep them hardwired for those reasons. Okay, they're not as nice, but you know, it's like an electric car, isn't it? You know, compared to a combustion engine. You know, combustion engine has been proven for the last 100 years. You know that mechanism has just worked and worked and worked and evolved, and it's always gonna work. You know, if your spark plugs break, you get new spark plugs. It's quite simple, and it's the same sort of concept really with using a a wired mouse and a wired keyboard on a Windows PC as well. So, you know, the reason I don't trade on this particular Mac is because Macs are they don't you can't put MetaTrader 4 on Macs. So okay, you can get an overlay, etc., and there's a way of doing it, but just makes things a little bit more complicated. So I want to use MetaTrader 4. So I have a Windows PC over there, and I have a it's like for my bots as well. Obviously, they need to be on the Windows PC rather than on a Mac to operate. Okay, so that order. Let's try that order again. That didn't go through. Right, let's work this time. Now, just double check on the lot size with my broker here. $1,800 bars. You see pre-market has moved up now. And that's because the pre-market is moving. Okay, so another one as well, natural gas. Now we're potentially right at the bottom, maybe, here. So I have actually bought in down here with natural gas. Now we've got to think what normally happens in the world in February. Normally gets, these days it tends to get a bit warmer, doesn't it? A bit warmer in, let's see, gold. Tends to get a bit warmer in January. It goes, and then it goes really cold again. So if it's going to go really cold again, we're all going to need our heating, and it's not nice because the cost of heating bills and electricity is flying, which is not great for everyone. However, if you can offset the cost of your heating by buying a heating product such as natural gas, I mean, that's what I've been doing, so I will make profits on natural gas. I got in a few positions, one position here actually, which is a bit in the negative at the moment, at $4. I'm also in palladium. Now palladium is just ranging, and then suddenly it's going to break out. It might break out to the downside, but it's unlikely it's going to stay down there for long, so we can watch that. But gold is, it might even in fact touch 1900 now. 1900 is significant level, and it's overextended, so it's almost like reaching up to the ceiling. You're going to reach up to the ceiling, and you're not going to be able to keep your arm up there for that long. So you're going to have to bring your arm down at some point, and that's when you get into these trades when it comes back down again. The next batch of news might push it down further, but generally January is a very bullish time for gold anyway. So silver should possibly do the same thing, but it's been going sideways for a little time recently. You can see on the daily chart here, if you look in the 4-hour chart, literally be going sideways. So okay, we have 2 minutes left for our 20-minute session. So let's just have a quick look at some stocks, because yesterday we looked at stocks and I decided not to buy any, just simply because of none of them were fitting in my weekly hook, or my weekly below 30% on the RSI, and the RSI is a relative strength indicator. So with this Home Depot, so no Tesla, I've just bought some Tesla stock just simply because that was my buy zone a little while ago, and I've just got in a pre-market lower amount. So I've got in. Now, not everyone can trade pre-market. That's my professional trading account. That's how I trade pre-market. So Amazon, Meta, Netflix. Okay. So I missed that one. I was going to buy there. That's a shame. Never mind. That's the way it goes. It's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. Google. Okay, so it looks like stocks are generally coming back. So see PayPal on pre-market. It's down here. So I could now buy that at $66 over here. We've got another 45 minutes before the bell goes and before these markets open. So let's just have a look at, is it PayPal? So US shares. We want P for PayPal. There we go. Okay. I can't buy PayPal on pre-market for some reason. Could be Tesla. Okay. Okay, that concludes my trading session for today. Just a quick recap. We're looking at the news. We're looking at the unemployment claims. We're looking at the CPI data. So positive information there on unemployment claims, which potentially is good for the future of interest rates, because interest rates might be reduced in the size of the next rate hike. So you see the CPI data was almost identical. It was identical to expected. So nothing really is affected there, but the unemployment claims is possibly what's helping gold push higher. So 1893 now 1894. Well, thank you guys for joining, and just remember, stay safe in the markets, and please send me a message if you have any questions. Have a good day.